Welcome to Wellness Spring. Dear friends, I am so blessed to be with a very special guest today, Michiko Hayashi, who is the Global Director and Ambassador of Emoto Peace Project, which is a non-for-profit organization. And I am so grateful to our communal friend, who's also a beautiful soul, Jeff Granville, for introducing us. And Michiko and I have since become lovely friends, and she is the successor of Dr. Emoto's legacy and distributes his children's book, The Message from Water, for free to all children, and gives lectures to teach water memory and that our consciousness creates reality, as well as teaching the importance of love and gratitude through the message from water to make the world a harmonious place. Michiko is always busy and always traveling. She is also the author of anthologies Womb to Thrive and Love Letter to Water. She received the Magna Luz Award from the Foundation 1A1 in Dominican Republic in July 2021. And that, dear friends, is just touching the surface of what she does. Welcome, Michiko.
Thank you so much, Beverly. It's so lovely to be here with you.
Pleasure.
I'm so grateful for Jeff Granville for introducing me and connecting us. Thank you.
Thank you. And for the audience, I've had a couple of lovely chats in private with Michiko, and we are planning to do something wonderful together. And for now, before we delve into all your wonderful work, could you please tell the listeners about your background, where you grew up? I know you're calling from Japan today, and I'm in south of Queensland. And if you tell us about your parents and any siblings.
Okay. All right. Okay, real briefly, I was born in Japan and raised in Japan until the age of 18. I was born and lived in the southern part of Japan called Fukuoka. It's a prefecture called Fukuoka. And my father was actually a priest, Buddhism priest. And so I learned a lot from my father to begin with, to be humble, to be kind and compassionate, all those, and be diligent. And my mother was, she owned the restaurant. So from her, by helping her at the restaurant, I learned to be, how to communicate with other people as well. So, but at the age of 18, when I graduated from my high school, I went to the United States to study in college. While I was in college in Portland, Oregon, called Lewis and Clark College, I went to Costa Rica and learned to speak Spanish there, because that was one of my major languages that I learned. And after I graduated from my college, Lewis and Clark College, I came back to Japan and came to Tokyo to work. But in 2004, in April, I started working for Dr. Emoto as a personal assistant. And that was when, well, before that, I was, after I got married, I had 2 sons. And because I wanted to raise my own sons by myself, so I decided to stay home to raise my children. And at that time, I was a translator, writing also English books. And when I finished translating Starbucks book from English into Japanese, I decided to take some time off. And that was when I read Dr. Emoto's books. And I was fascinated with his hado means vibration. The knowledge that Dr. Emoto had about vibration, and also how he was taking the water crystal pictures from different wars and all that. So I went to see his website, and there it said he was looking for someone who could help him with translation rights to his books. So I had the feeling that he needed me, and that's how I met Dr. Emoto in person. And ever since then, I'm here. And I started working as his personal assistant.
Wow. And I'm guessing that you must have studied languages, or what did you study in university?
I studied, my first language was Spanish. The second language was French and Italian.
Wow.
My major was foreign languages.
Wow.
So, yeah, I learned all these languages in English. So I guess that was my passion as well. I wanted to be a translator or interpreter, but
wow. No,
it was too much for me.
That's great. And how did you mentioned about, well, I know you've written 2 books. Have you always been passionate about writing? And do you want to tell us briefly about your 2 books that you've written as well?
Thank you. Yes. Especially with this book called Womb to Thrive. That's the book for mothers, for people in general, but especially for young ladies who will become mothers, because in that book there are 26 authors,
wow.
specialists, talking about the importance of the time of pregnancy. And Dr. Emoto had taken water crystal pictures from amniotic liquid and
wow.
showing some words and pictures and stuff, but he did not write the book on the pregnancy. So when I was asked to write contribute a chapter for that book, I knew that was really important, because the water crystals from amniotic liquid shows that from the moment of conception, the babies do have memory and they have consciousness. They know what is happening, what kind of emotions mothers have, and that all affect their babies. So I'm very happy that I was able to do that.
Wow, that's amazing. And yes, I often give talks on water, and we say, we're 70% water, and some scientists believe more, and the planet's 70% water. And obviously, we're born in a sack of water as well. And it's really good I know Shirley Temple's mother used to take her to the theatre and take her sightseeing and give her history lessons just to educate. So how important do you think it is when, from conception onwards, or even preconception, when you're trying for a baby?
Exactly. Yeah. Preconception. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's when the babies are in the womb and when mothers go through the difficult time, the babies already have the trauma at that time. And when they are born at the hospitals, sometimes, they go through a difficult time and they see all the lights and everything that is not very unnatural. Then at that time, their babies are already scared. So that's another trauma that we are giving. So I am recommending natural birth also. I mean, if there's any danger, then, medical interference is really important. But still, being born in a natural way is very important. And mothers are really happy that way as well.
That's beautiful. And it's really nice for the mother to connect with the baby in the womb, and also the partner, if the partner's around, you know, because a lot of people choose to have babies by themselves today and so forth. But if there's another significant other or family members to talk to the baby. And
right.
Your other book is Love Letter to Water. So what did how did that come about?
That was the person who published this book was living in Canada. What was his name? Claudia. He moved to Panama, and he's now living in Panama with his family. But actually he asked me to contribute one chapter, and there are many people who have contributed also. And when I wrote, I made a mistake because I thought that the title was Love Letter from Water, I thought. But it was actually Love Letter to Water. So when I wrote, I was just talking about how different every water was. And all the rains in Japan used to have different names in each rains. So there were like more than 800 names to rain. Like
wow.
when it rains really hard. Yeah, we don't have that many now, but we used to have that. So I explained the history of water in Japan. So
that's amazing.
That's another beautiful book.
Because that was one of the questions I was inspired to ask you today as well, about the consciousness of different styles of water. Because last night we were in our van and we were staying next to a waterfall, and we had a huge storm. And, you know, branches were being blown off some of the trees, and one big branch in particular. And then when it passed paused for a little while, we went down and seen the water. So because Dr. Emoto thinks that, and many other scientists as well, think that water is our consciousness, when we have big floods, do you think that that's God or consciousness or spirit giving us a message, like a collective message for the people in the country?
Definitely, yes. I have two thoughts about that. One is the message given by water. Water, as Dr. Emoto used to say, water is God. And so it has the consciousness. As we see, each water, it doesn't really seem like it has consciousness. But when it comes to like tsunami or huge storm, something, you can really feel the powerful energy of the water. And through that, especially with tsunami, when you see it, it really looks like it's a living entity coming and trying to obtain everything with anger. And after, when it's calm, it's gone. And as you can see, when that happens, everything that man created is gone. But nature is the only thing that stays there. So God, to me, God is teaching us, giving us the message to be humble, to respect, to appreciate nature, and also water.
Yeah, that's very good, because I also think whenever there's a disaster, like one year I was living in Bermuda and they had a tornado, and then afterwards the community comes together, and we did in Australia help after the tsunami in Singapore, Thailand. There was a massive one about 20 years ago. And I organized with the local football club to do massage, and the football players, all the teams we're doing a round robin. So everybody got involved and it was a lot of fun. And it was a great way, you know, for a good cause to bring peace and love to the community again, you know, and do something fun.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And
wonderful.
I know the listeners would be keen to find out when you first met Dr. Emoto, and I am as well, you know, what did he look like? What was his mannerism? How did the interview go? And how did you connect?
Well, to me, he was just one ordinary man, you know, just my boss, my mentor. But he was always so honest. He was a very honest, pure person, and he loved to see everyone having fun together. And I learned so much from him to be always, this is something very important. He told us not to be judging people, talking negatively about others, and but to be honest, to accept people, because everyone has his own or her own way of living. We are all different, diversity, and that's nature.
Yes.
So he was very open-minded always. Because he was so honest or truthful to himself. So when he's upset, he's upset. But he would be always open to people. He would be happy to have people, accepting everyone. So it was really nice to be around him. I'm very honored to have been his personal assistant. It was really nice because he was a Emoto family even now, but his wife is here even now. I mean, she doesn't come in there every day, but even now she comes in to work with us. And his sons are here also. So we were always together as a family.
Oh, that's beautiful, because I think family is so important. And, you know, our ancestors as well, when you talk about respect, is respecting our ancestors. And, you know, what we do, I say to people, our action or inactions will help everybody around us, not help, but affect everybody around us, you know. And if you believe in future lives for our future lives, you know, so children are the way of the future. And from my experience in my traveling, I've noticed that the children are bringing so much love already into the world. And
children nowadays are very different from the children that we used to be, because they are so conscious about things and universe and peace and harmony, and they're just so loving and giving. So this is a really good sign.
Great. And firstly, will you tell the audience about how Dr. Emoto started his research?
Thank you for asking. Yes, he was at the beginning, he was a doctor of alternative medicine, and he helped more than 10,000 people before he started to do the research on water. And at that time, he was using the device called Hado machine. Hado means vibration, vibrational machine, to detect the root cause of the problems that the clients had. And what he did was he imprinted the vibration to neutralize the negative cause, and had each patient drink their waters. And that's how he helped all the clients, more than 10,000 people. At that time, he knew that he was saying that everything is vibration. Everything has frequency. It's vibrating. And so water is the conductor of that vibration. He wanted to show everyone that every water is different, and everything is vibration, and water is the conductor of our consciousness and everything that water sees or hears or exposed to, and stores memory and transmits the information. So he kept thinking what he can do to prove that. Then one day he saw the book of snowflakes. That was the day that he decided to take the water crystal photos, frozen water crystal photos. And it took him about 2.5 months or almost 3 months before he captured the first crystal picture. But after that, he just, well, actually not himself, but his assistant, who was the scientist with PhD, was able to start obtaining many crystals. And then they discovered something very important, that water has memory and shows whether this vibration is positive or negative in the form of crystallization and in water crystals like this. And this water crystal is after showing the word love and gratitude, 2 words together. And that Dr. Emoto said that water shows the most beautiful crystal from the word love and gratitude. It's not only I love you, it's not only thank you, but both words together. Then he kept thinking, why does water show this such a beautiful, most beautiful crystal, the formation? Then he came up with this idea, learned from nature, that the creator designed this earth based on love and gratitude. And that's why water responds so beautifully to love and gratitude.
Oh, I fell in love with his book when I seen it in a shop, and I had to buy it, not knowing anything about it. The hidden messages of water, the adult version of what you just showed. And I used to place it in my kitchen, or when I had my healing center in Rose Bay in Sydney, I had a few pie mags, and I put the books next to that so people could browse through, if they're waiting for someone. And just the photographs, but they were so powerful. Even just looking at the photographs, you could feel the vibrant energy. And then that led me to look at contaminants in water, because I was fascinated by, if you do positive words like love and gratitude, it'd come up like a beautiful sacred geometry, shape and structure. And then if you had words like hate and anger or war and vile words, it would be very murky and dark and black. So got me thinking, what is the best water to drink? And this is going back about 20 years ago or more, probably 30 years ago. And, there was a watchdog called ASEV, and they went around Britain and France, and they were checking the water. And they found that a lot of people were bottling in London and Yorkshire, putting tap water in Evian bottles because it looks trendy, and selling it. And in France, the farmers were complaining about the contaminants in water, and the government was saying, no, it's fine, it's fine. I think this was about 2010. And then when they looked at it, they had 30 of the really bad contaminants. So in the UK and in France, they started checking the water. I'm not sure how frequently now, because I couldn't find my research before this call to give you the correct stats. And, they're saying at least they test the water, the councils test the water, so they know when it leaves their water depot, there's no contaminants in it. Whereas in bottled water, they were saying it tells you what's good in it, but they don't tell you what's bad in it. And most bottled water comes in plastic, and you don't know how long it's been sitting in the plastic, and if it's been in the heat and what it's doing. So I'm curious to know, what is the best water to drink and what your thoughts are on tap water and so forth.
The best water is a natural spring water near your place, but we have to be careful if it's not contaminated as well, because some I would like to show you the natural waters are really beautiful. They're like at the molecular level, all the natural waters are supposed to be very, very beautiful. So this is really directly related to our good health. So when we drink really good water, natural spring water like this, then our body, the water within our body is really healthy and beautiful. And as you can see, the water is in many places nowadays, waters are so contaminated. We humans are doing it. We continue to do it, and water is very sad. I know that water is really sad. And see, this is the upstream of water. It's so beautiful. But when it comes down to the midstream, it's ugly like this. That's where we live. We are polluting water. And when it goes to the downstream, it goes like this. So the best is we should not pollute water. The best water is to drink the beautiful spring water. Maybe you can check it, and when you drink it, and if you can taste the sweetness of water, that's a good water for you, because depending on your condition too, physical condition, you feel differently. And the water that you can taste sweet is the good water for you. That's what Dr. Emoto used to say. And
so obviously not everybody lives next to spring and running water. So when you're saying spring water, when we're in shops, we buy spring water in the bottles.
Right. In the bottles. And I recommend using the glass bottle, not plastic bottle, because if you keep the water in the plastic bottle, it's not good. And plastic itself is not good, because when we finish using it, a lot of people throw it away. If we don't recycle it, it's another problem. So bringing glass is a better one. And if you cannot have the best water, if you don't know whether it's good or bad, then you can write thank you, or you can even say thank you to drink it just before you drink it.
Right. Yeah, I received a text from someone about 3 months ago. They said, why not make a revolution with the water like John Lennon did with Imagination, the song, about bringing peace, love and harmony into the world. And every time you drink water, say, I'm drinking water and I nourish peace. And I thought that was a really beautiful message to give to your body. I'm nourishing peace.
Right. It's our consciousness. It's really, consciousness is vibration, powerful energy. And now, as we know that we all know by now that almost 2/3 of our body is filled up with water. And whatever I think, whatever you think affects water within us, water around us in the air, and affects everything in nature, because our energy is expanding. And when we think about nature, starting last year, we started to do this World Water Festival in Japan. And many people joined us. Thousands of people joined us live. And we asked everyone to offer the prayer together to water. And we did the 3 different testings. And here, of course, these are water crystal pictures of before and after. The water changes. And also here, you can't see because it's Japanese, but pollution, even pollution level changed. It was purified that even fish can live in this water. Before the prayer, it was contaminated, polluted, but even pollution got improved. So you can really see how powerful our consciousness is and how we are affecting water in the world.
Thank you. And when you talk about consciousness, because many people describe it in different ways, what is your definition of consciousness?
Consciousness is our thoughts, our feelings, emotions, because it comes from, well, sometimes from brain, but from heart. And when you send our, we have consciousness. One is intention. One is without thinking, it's emotion that comes out naturally. So those two, including everything, is consciousness. And one thing that we can do is we can transform it.
Wow.
When we observe my own habit, when you observe your own habit of what you think, what kind of emotions you tend to have, what kind of words you tend to use, then you know the tendency of your consciousness. Then we can start to transform to the positive way.
So briefly, what you're saying is water can help us to make the world a more peaceful place to live in.
Yes. It's, catalyst.
Catalyst. Okay, that's wonderful. And I believe you are now going to have an annual World Water Festival because it was so successful.
Thank you. Yes, we will have it again on the 11th of November this year. And it will be held in the Kyushu southern part called Aso. That's really one of the most abundant with water. The area is abundant and most beautiful water that they have. So to that water from there, we would like to send love and gratitude to water, our prayer to water from there to all around the world with everyone.
Oh, so that's beautiful. Thank you. This information is on your website?
Of World Water Festival?
Yes.
It's www.worldwaterfestival.net.
Fantastic. And I'll add it with the show notes as well. And people can contact you directly. And can people come? Do you still have the Heido apparatus in the laboratory in your office? And do you or Dr.Emoto-san's see clients privately there for a healing?
Yes, we do have that. Yes, we still do that. We have that section and specialists who are doing that, so people can come and have the consultation, and we make waters for them. So yes, well, they can contact us at hado.com.
It's fantastic, because obviously as a healer, I think our thoughts bring on any disease, and seems our body is primarily water, like you just said, 2/3, because I know each cell is 99% water. So it's really important to keep ourselves in balance. And for me, as a Reiki master, I know you've done pictures of people giving Reiki to the water as well. And it came out like perfect geometry. So, and there's lots of apparatus. There's one I've got, which is called an aquatone, which looks like an old-fashioned handheld device. but that's Russian technology made by a Swedish man, made by a Russian man living in Sweden. And it actually is the only technology that talks to the water in your cells and realigns the cells. So I'll send you some information if you don't know anything about it.
Yes.
And I'm sure he'd be glad to chat with you as well and get involved. And I used to say to people, it's my battery operated Reiki, because when we do Reiki and put our hands on people, obviously we're talking to the universe. So again, it's our intention. And I said, if we have disease, it's like a lake or a dam that is stagnant and rank and murky and smelling. And what the Reiki does is scoops it all out and puts fresh water in, or realigns the structures so that there's only fresh water, so you can be in perfect alignment again. So
that's wonderful.
What is the work you do with children?
That you do with children?
Yeah.
Oh, what do I do with children? I'm sorry, I lost you.
Yeah, you mentioned that. I know that you give free books, or Dr.Emoto used to give free books to children around the world. Yeah.
This is the children's book that Dr.Emoto started giving to all children for free of charge. Of course, we ask for donations, but for children, they are all free. And in here, well, he started doing this in 2005. And he said that he would give this book of 650 million children's books to all children around the world. So now we have this book translated into 34 languages. Now 35 languages almost done. So, and if anyone see here, it shows beautiful the words like thank you and you cool, like this, the differences. And if children learn about the importance of water and the truth of water and the beauty of love and gratitude and peace and war here, see like this, children would not want to fight. The children would want to, this is before the prayer, after the prayer, to water. So they will learn about how powerful our thoughts are, our water, the water is, and how we are connected with water. So if there's anyone who would like, they can contact me also. Then I'm happy to send from here.
That's wonderful. And do you also? I was just going to ask, do you educate the teachers as well, or the parents, so that they're open for it, so then they can follow through with the children?
Yes. Thank you for asking. Yes, I do talk to parents, teachers, to any people, from little children to adults, or grandma, grandpa as well. So anyone who would like to have me talk to them, and please let me know.
That's wonderful. Yesterday, I don't know if you can see it, I got given this glass water bottle, and at the bottom it's filled with rose quartz crystals. And
beautiful.
Yeah. And you can open it and you can change it and put any different crystals in that you choose. I was just going to ask you, from your experience, will that infuse the energy of love into the water?
Of course, because water receives every energy, vibration of everything. So if you have rose quartz, love energy goes in. So that's a really beautiful thing that you're doing.
Yeah. Because my husband bought us a surprise, because I've been making rose water and leaving some on the land where we're traveling, especially in areas where I think they need it. And we've come to areas where the people have left a lot of litter. So I've been doing Reiki on the land, and I've also been sharing the Reiki as we're traveling in the van, but also leaving rose water. and I do messages of love and a little prayer to the water before I scatter it.
Oh,
So
well,
thank you.
that's beautiful. One thing I would like to bring back is indigenous people's rituals. You know, they used to do that all the time, and nature really appreciated it and really enjoyed it. But because of ever since 2020, after this pandemic, they stopped. So I really hope that all these indigenous people come back and start doing the dancing and appreciating nature and all elements, and start doing the dances and giving good vibrations to nature.
Yeah, I think now
all around the world.
Yeah, I think now is the time for a digital detox and to really spend time in nature and learn from nature and just sit and watch nature. And recently I was in a place called Bulldog in northern New South Wales, and they've got massive rocks with loads of crystals in them. So I precariously laid down on the rock because it was quite steep, and just asked the rock to give me healing and to align whatever I needed and to fill me with the essence, so that when I breathe that I can share the love and energy out. But I think for children,
Wonderful.
I think for children in particular, because, you know, everybody and young teenagers, but everybody, because we're all addicted to our mobile phones and Facebook, social media. So it's a really good way. I'm just aware of the time. So one quick question, someone messaged to say they don't like drinking water. Is tea or coffee or squash in water, is that okay? Does it have the same effect because the main content is water?
The best is to drink pure water, but also when you drink coffee, tea, anything, it is water too. So just always having the feeling of gratitude, loving and gratitude.
Right. And I put lots of different words like love, peace, joy, harmony on my water filter. Is that too much? Is it better to just have one word, or it's okay?
Oh, it doesn't matter. It's good that you have many different positive, beautiful words, because every words have the vibration, and water receives that.
Great. And I know you work with a lot of scientists, and you mentioned Dr. Gerald Pollack earlier from Seattle, and he's written that amazing book, The Fourth Phase of Water. And can you share with us what about him and his work and what the scientists do to contribute to your work?
Well, thank you. He is my favorite scientist because he's so humble. Even though he's so famous, he's the leading scientist on water. He is the chief editor of a journal called Water also, and he conducts the World International Water Conference every year. All the water researchers come in and give the presentations. But the most importantly, his team and he discovered the fourth phase in water that is beyond solid, like ice, or liquid, like just general water, or vapor in here in the air. There's one more phase that's called fourth phase, and he calls it easy water also because it's an exclusion zone. That's when all the substances that are in the water is excluded. It becomes more like a gel type of water. And the structure of that water is very firm, like hexagonal beehive or whatever you call. Honeycomb.
Honeycomb, yeah.
Yeah. Its structure. So it's really, really stable. And that's where water remembers everything that it sees, years exposed to.
Wow.
And keeps that memory there. That's why when we take the water crystal photos, it reveals that vibration or information. And he announced something very important and very interesting. You may want to, have you interviewed him?
No, but Jeff is going to introduce me, or I'm happy for you to introduce me as well, to
He's
Dr. Gerald Pollack, because I've just got his latest book, so I'm busy reading that, and then I'm happy to chat with him.
good. Yes, I highly recommend him because just last year in October during this International Water Conference, his presentation was about fourth phase of water having that energy for the earthquakes and volcanic eruption and all that, and it has that energy. And remember, water is deeply connected with our consciousness.
Yes.
So all that is really related.
Yeah.
It would be really fascinating.
Oh, yeah.
You can interview him.
I'm definitely looking forward to it and keep my fingers and toes crossed that he's got time to accept an interview. So, and I just want to end by saying I really appreciate you giving up your wonderful time, and thank you for all you do and the wonderful work that you're bringing into the world. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much for this beautiful work that you're doing to spread the importance of our consciousness and water and helping people. Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you.
And I hope you all have one wonderful, happy day every day.
Yes. Happiness to everyone. And don't forget, think about everything you say, and because the power of intention, and take words of love, peace, harmony, whatever you feel you're lacking, tape it on your drinking glass or your whatever vessel you're using for drinking to bring this love, peace and harmony. And if your plants are not growing, just give them lots of love and put love in the water. So thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Beverly, again.